You were listening to chartingwealth.com for Wednesday, the 5th of April, 2017. We see that stocks are up, gold is up, bonds are down. Let's start with SPY as we always do. It's the exchange-traded fund that tracks the S&P 500. What do we see going on? Well, we had our weekly vertical crossover at the end of this past week, and we had our buy-in point on Monday at 10:30. We see that SPY is up just a little bit on the day. We do have a red down candle. It's basically a doji. The market closed at 135.51. We see that our derivative oscillators continuing to move down. It is losing some of that downward energy, but the PPO, the price percent oscillator, is continuing to angle down strongly along with the trend line. We will continue to pay attention to just what's going on. With the red signal line continuing to go down with it. Again, we'll continue to watch this play. We did have our buy-in point. We do have strong things pushing the market down. That is the 2-day chart followed by the weekly chart. If we take a look intraday action on the 2-hour chart, we can see that the market was down strong starting off the day on Monday at 10 a.m., that candle, the noon candle, and the 2 o'clock candle, and then it's basically moved sideways a little up toward the end of the day. So again, when we track and look at our 2-day chart and our weekly chart, we are still in confirmed down moves there. Now let's continue to move along. We will take a look at the Qs. It was up 0.15% for the day. We don't have a play in that because, of course, the weekly is still in a weekly vertical crossover going up. That happened all the way back in January, and we don't have a buy-in point there. The 2-day chart is pointing down, and, of course, we can see the NASDAQ continuing to move up. So we don't have a trade down yet on that. We're still technically in our up trade until we get a crossover going down on that chart. So the next thing that we'll move to is to take a look on the 2-day chart at TLT. That's a 20-year bond fund. It was down for the day, 0.54%. We have a number of up candles. We crossed over going up on the 2-day chart back on the 22nd of March, and it continues to move up. We've redrawn our trend line. We are above that. The PPO continues to move up. Derivative oscillator continues to keep about the same amount of energy. If we look at our 2-hour chart, we see that it crossed over going up in the afternoon on Monday. It then sort of peaked out and it started to roll back over. Looks like it crossed over going down there toward the end of the day. Now again, for those of you who jumped in at the appropriate point on that chart, we're continuing to monitor how that chart is going. And of course, as we back off and look at our bigger chart, we're continuing to see the right and the proper movement. From our initial entry point there, of course, we had some drop off. But again, the beautiful thing about the big wave is the big wave always wins, doesn't it? It always wins. Once you see that weekly vertical crossover occur, that sea change happens. It's like the big tide coming in the harbor, and it lifts all the boats. That is what's so beautiful about that big weekly chart. Now, lastly, we're going to go take a look at gold. It is up 0.22% for the day. And of course, we did have a weekly vertical crossover occur in gold all the way back in January. And we also see the 2-day crossed over in gold back on the 24th of March. And we have continued up movement in gold. If we drop back and take a look at our 2-hour chart, we of course see that crossover occurred going up in gold after the pullback at 4 p.m. In the afternoon on Monday. So a good buy-in point for you there for your virtual trade after this long pullback in gold. But of course, the one thing that we don't forget about ever with gold is how beautiful our 4-hour chart is. We don't yet have a crossover going up, but it has worked so well. Once we get over the end of the year periods, they tend to be the time periods when gold stops working right in December and early January, and then that 4-hour chart becomes prescient again. And of course, what makes that 4-hour chart the strongest is when our weekly chart is moving in the same direction along with the 2-day chart, which is what we see setting up right now. So those of you who did not get into gold on that 2-hour chart, you might watch and wait and see what plays out for you on the 4-hour chart, and that may be happening on Wednesday. Folks, that's where we are at the end of the day. We so appreciate you being with us. We always love to hear from you. You can write us cw@chartingwealth.com. If you have questions, problems, concerns, we will try to address those for you. If you appreciate what we do, please go to iTunes, subscribe to our podcast. You guys have made us as high in the world as I think number 6 as far as stock trading goes. You've made us as high as number 8 in stock market podcasts. And again, we just appreciate, and that's worldwide, we just appreciate all of your support. We love to hear from you. We love to hear about your successes. We also love to hear your questions and how we can help you as far as figuring out how these charts work. Because, my friends, it is all about reading the charts. Whether you're a value investor, whether you're someone who goes out and figures out what companies are worth and what are good deals to get in, you never want to buy high and sell low. You want to buy at the right price when you've got something trending up. And what do? We don't forecast, we trend follow, which is the safest thing to do. So again, please let us know what your problems, concerns are. We got a lot of great training at the website. If you've not already subscribed to our website, you definitely have to do so. Go to chartingwealth.com, subscribe to this podcast. You will receive it every day that the market is open. Once a week, you'll get our comprehensive review and forecast, which again gives you weekly vertical crossovers. We had one happen this last week, and those of you who subscribe to our text alert service, which is easy to do, it's also in your show notes. All you have to do is text to the number 33222 on your phone the words Charting Wealth. Actually, one word, no space between charting and wealth. That's our name. We will make sure you're on that list and you receive that text alert. We only send out, well, typically it's about one a month, if that. But we will try our best to we will notify you when we have those things occur. No more than 6 texts a month, but again, 1 to 2 more likely. We so appreciate you again being with us. Let us hear from you. God bless. All the best from chartingwealth.com.